Hello and welcome to a new video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Juan and I love to talk about software products and building businesses around them. Today I want to talk about a case that I have noticed recently in social media because that's where we get the news nowadays, isn't it? Anyways, but I noticed that there has been several topics and all of them are related to how companies are treating their customers. So today let's talk about two companies that have handled the communications towards the customers in a very different way and with very different results. So first, let's start with Zoom. You probably have used Zoom for some work-related calls or online calls with other people. It's a very popular tool and many people are using it, obviously, especially very popular in North America. What has happened recently with Zoom is that they have changed their license agreement terms. And although companies change those agreements relatively often, Zoom maybe has not done it in the most gracious way. So I'm not going to go through the whole license agreement and how Zoom has written it out, but I want to highlight a couple of things here. Basically, Zoom says that here in this section 10.4, customer license grant, you agree to grant and hereby grant Zoom a perpetual, worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free, licensable and transferable license and all other rights required or necessary to redistribute, publish, import, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go through all of those. You continue reading, then you get to this section 2 for the purpose of product and service development, marketing, analytics, quality assurance, machine learning, artificial intelligence, training, testing, improvement of services, software, or Zoom's other products, services, and software, or any combination thereof. So there's a very interesting thing here, is that first of all, apparently there is no way of you to opt out of this. Second, how people are using Zoom. So if you think about how you use Zoom at work, you are talking about a lot of proprietary information to your company, especially for people using it for work, you can imagine. If you think about all the meetings that you have, all the meetings where you are discussing your business plans, how you're going to deal with competition, especially maybe medical companies, information they might be dealing with might be very internal and something that it cannot be definitely used for other purposes. And now Zoom seems to be saying that it's going to be able to use this in the moment that you have a contract or are using Zoom as a customer. For me, that's a really big red flag. And it's not just for me. And the backlash that it has had in social media, especially in LinkedIn, where I have seen it the most, it has been quite big because people have not been very happy about it. With people actually expressing their opinions about this update, and they're not that great, especially if you think for Zoom, and especially not for the customers of Zoom. So people saying things like, if you feel that you can discuss confidential or proprietary information during your Zoom meetings, it's time for you probably to look for a new platform because those meetings might not be as private as you thought. Others are saying that Zoom is heralding the era of algorithmic eavesdropping. And many people are thinking that many, of course, of these conversations are being mined, are being listened to train AI models. And of course, then there's the other part of this. It's like, first, you have already annoyed your customers. Second, your customers are probably already looking for alternatives because nobody wants anybody listening to their own internal conversations and extracting data for their own purposes. So many companies have already started to think about looking for alternatives because nobody feels that this is a secure way of communication for you anymore. And that's a very big hit for Zoom. And honestly, it's a deserved one for doing such a communication. But now let's go to the bright side and the company that actually has done a communication in a very different way from what Zoom has done. So now I want to talk about Larian Studios or Larian Studios. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It is a Belgian game studio that it's producing nowadays the new Baldur's Gate 3 game. And if you are not into games, this is a role-playing game, RPG game for people to go on adventure, which had some prequels which were very, very, very popular back in the early 2000s, if I'm not correct. Yeah, I played both. They were awesome. Here, the direction is a little bit different. In the situation of Zoom, it was just a new changed on the license agreement. When you think about gaming, the situation is different because there has been already quite a bit of backlash recently, and not so much recently, but for several years now, on how much the companies are pushing on these online transactions, on these small purchases that you had to do in order to actually be able to play the game and win in the game, not just by paying the normal price of the game. Just very common model to have this pay to win that is called nowadays. And one of the questions that there was in a panel for Larian Studios and that the CEO was answering was that, are there any in-game purchases? No, there are no in-game purchases in our game. We believe in providing a complete and immersive gaming experience without the need for additional purchases. Enjoy the game to its fullest without any additional costs or microtransactions. I think this is brilliant. And it's not just because the communication is great, but the result and the perception of many people in the community that have been following Larian and the development of Baldur's Gate 3, it has been great and people have appreciated it a lot. And the comments have been overwhelmingly, I don't know how to pronounce that word. They have been great. So let's go through some of the comments that I have been checking out. Gaming as it should be. It's time to reverse the trend and make good games a game, and note season battle passes that create empty and hollow content based on addictive gaming models. I was tempted to get Baldur's Gate at some point. This just guaranteed my purchase. They are seriously amazing. The fact that they've been through so much makes me so happy to see them thriving, to deliver such quality experiences and with such passion. This is exactly what every business guru, what every product guru is telling you that you should do. You have to make sure that the products that you're building, people will love them, that you're giving them great experiences. Larian here has done it in an awesome way. They really have gone and take the point of view of the customer, and instead of trying to go and squeeze every single dollar or euro or whatnot, they are just trying to give you a fair price for a great product for you to go and enjoy. And this is something that has been really bugging many gamers over the years, that they cannot really experience games in a more organic way. Everything seems to be a transaction, and it takes away from the immersion of the game. Game is in a way an escapism from reality. If you're reminding the gamers that they had to be purchasing all the time in order to win, you're reminding them that they're in a game. But you don't want to remind them that they're in a game. You want them to enjoy that experience. You want them to enjoy that escape from, I don't want to say reality, but you know what it means. That moment that you want to enjoy and be entertained, you don't want it to be ruined because you had to be purchasing and spending money constantly. You spend it one time and you can enjoy. Go and enjoy. Enjoy your experience. I think what Larian has done here, it really creates an experience that is awesome for the user. And it's not even an experience within the product. As for what I heard, the game is great on its own right, but the fact that you're making the go-to-market experience such a great one is a tough one, and something that many companies are not doing right. What I take out of these two communications, first of all, is that you have to pay attention to the way that you treat and you listen and you pay attention to your customers. It's not something that people, maybe companies take so much attention or pay so much attention to, and you think that you can go and change things and maybe not tell people very clearly. And I think that here it shows that maybe Zoom didn't tell so clearly about it, and then of course that had a backlash. On the other hand, what Larian did is that they told that very clearly, and then everybody goes and supports it because people are really happy about a company doing that. So apparently Zoom has said now that Zoom will not use audio, video, or chat customer content to train our artificial intelligence models without your consent. Okay, fair enough. They said this, maybe it's true. It doesn't read quite so in the license agreements terms. Okay, I'm not the most expert person reading this kind of agreements. Maybe I'm misinterpreting something, so maybe don't take my word for it, but you can just go to LinkedIn, see the posts related to Zoom, and you will see the reactions of quite many other people out there. But still, the problem is that how they went to the communication in a more indirect way without really communicating clearly to the customers. And I think that this is what people dislike the most, that you get an information that, hey, your license agreement terms are now changed and you cannot do anything about it. So you either continue being our customer or not. That is the reality of the communication, and that's not what any company, especially in B2B, wants to see. On the other hand, when you think about Larian, they were just completely open about a problem that there is in the industry. They solve that problem, they make it better, they make a much better solution. People are happy to pay for a game if the game is going to give them that enjoyable experience that they want. And they manage to give it by a great game and by also pricing it in a fair manner. So the way that you treat your customers is very important because it's going to keep them with you, or they might start doubting you and might start looking to other alternatives. So some key points. What should you do when you treat your customers? First of all, don't be sneaky. Don't try to go behind their backs and do something without really telling them very directly. Maybe do something that you hope that it will just go through and they will not notice and they will continue with me. Second, treat them with respect because they deserve to be respected. They're your customers, they're people, they're companies. They deserve to be respected as both individuals or teams. Third, you have to give them value. You have to provide a solution for that need they have, whether it is the need of communication in the company or whether it's the need of being entertained during my weekends or free hours. Fourth, you have to create enjoyable experiences. And to the degree that you can. Sometimes, updating a license agreement is probably not the most interesting thing, but neither it is talking about pricing. And everybody got super excited in the case of Larian. So the way that you try to give a good experience to your customers matters. And finally, fifth, treat your customers as you would like to be treated. So don't treat your customers in a way that you would not like to receive that kind of information, and see what you would like to receive. That is going to give you good cues of what you could be doing when you are doing communication with your customers. So if you do all these things, this is going to help you keep your customers engaged, happy, and build a community around you. And of course, neither they will go running to your competitors to look for alternatives, nor they will go to social media to shout about how bad you are doing things. Maybe they will go to social media to say how great you are and how you are actually an awesome company to work with. And that's where you want to be. Have you seen any cases like these ones recently? Both the good ones and maybe not the not so good ones. Please comment below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel and click the notifications bell. I will see you in the next one, and remember, stay safe.